The night was cold and quiet in the outskirts of the city. A dim light flickered from a broken street lamp, casting trembling shadows on the wet road. Somewhere beyond the trees, a van stood parked, engine still running. Two rough-looking men were dragging a young woman, no older than 23, toward the vehicle. Her mouth was gagged, wrists tied with coarse rope, and tears streaked her pale cheeks as she tried to scream through the muffled cloth. "Move faster," one of the men hissed, shoving her toward the open van door. The second man glanced nervously around. "Relax, no one comes this way at night," he muttered, but his voice carried the unease of someone not fully convinced. Just a few meters away, a tall, muscular man in his late 30s jogged along the road with his 8-year-old daughter, Ava. He was wearing a gray hoodie and sweatpants, his breath visible in the cold air. His name was Daniel Reed, a single father who used his late-night runs to clear his head after long shifts at the local gym. Ava, sitting on his shoulders, giggled softly as she pointed toward the faint glow ahead. "Daddy, look, there's a car," she said, excitement in her innocent voice. Daniel slowed his pace, his instincts tingling. Something didn't feel right. The sounds, the scuffling, the faint cry, reached his trained ears. He had spent years competing in bodybuilding, but before that, he'd been a security guard and a part-time MMA instructor. The tone of that muffled scream, he recognized it instantly. Fear, real fear, he whispered. "Ava, baby, stay quiet for a second." The little girl went silent, clutching his shoulders as Daniel crouched behind a parked dumpster. He peeked around the edge and froze. Two men, a young woman struggling. His jaw tightened. "Daddy, what's happening?" Ava whispered softly. Daniel took a deep breath. "Some bad men are hurting that lady." The little girl gasped, her small hand gripping his hoodie. "Daddy, please help her." Something in her voice cut straight through his hesitation. A father's instinct roared to life. He gently placed her down behind the dumpster. "You stay right here, okay? No matter what happens, don't come out until I say so." Ava nodded bravely, eyes wide and glistening. "Promise you'll be okay." Daniel smiled faintly. "I promise." He stood up, his 6'2" frame emerging from the shadows. The kidnappers didn't notice him at first. The larger one yanked the girl toward the van, while the thinner one fumbled with a phone. "Hey!" Daniel's deep voice thundered across the empty road. Both men froze, turning toward him. "Who the hell are you?" The larger one barked. Daniel walked closer, his fists clenched. "Let her go." The thinner man sneered. "Walk away, big guy. This isn't your business." Daniel stopped a few feet away, his eyes cold. "When someone screams for help, it becomes my business." The big man laughed. "Oh, you think you can take us both on, hero?" Daniel didn't answer. He moved like lightning, years of training condensed into instinct. His fist connected with the first man's jaw, the crack echoing through the night. The man stumbled back, blood spraying from his mouth. The second one lunged forward with a pocket knife, slashing wildly. Daniel sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and twisted sharply until the knife clattered to the ground. "Wrong move," Daniel growled. He delivered a swift knee to the man's stomach, sending him crumpling to the pavement. The first kidnapper, dazed but furious, grabbed a metal rod from the van and charged. Daniel barely ducked as it whistled past his head. He tackled the man to the ground, pinning him with brutal precision, then delivered two quick punches that left the man motionless. Ava peeked from behind the dumpster, eyes wide as she watched her father take down both men in seconds. Her heart pounded, but pride filled her small chest. "Daddy," she cried as she ran to him. Daniel looked up, breathing heavily, his knuckles bloodied. "Stay back, honey, it's okay now." He quickly untied the young woman, who was trembling and pale. She clutched his arm as soon as her hands were free. Thank you," she stammered, voice shaking. Daniel helped her to her feet. "You're safe now." "Who are they?" I don't know," she said. "They grabbed me after I left my office. I'm the assistant to a CEO. I think they wanted ransom." Daniel nodded grimly and dialed 911. Within minutes, sirens echoed through the street. The kidnappers were arrested, and paramedics examined the shaken woman. Before leaving, she turned to Daniel, her voice soft but filled with awe. "You saved my life. What's your name?" "Daniel Reed," he said, wiping the blood from his hands. "I'll never forget this," she whispered, her eyes glistening before she was taken away by police for questioning. The night faded into silence again. Daniel lifted Ava into his arms, smiling tiredly. "You did good, kiddo. You reminded me what's right." Ava beamed. You're a real hero, Daddy. The next morning, Daniel returned to his normal routine, preparing breakfast, getting Ava ready for school, and heading to the gym where he worked as a trainer. But his mind kept drifting back to that terrified woman's face. He hoped she was okay. Around noon, he was helping a client lift weights when the gym doors opened. A hush fell over the room. Everyone turned to look at the woman walking in. She was dressed in a black business suit, her long hair neatly tied back, and a pair of dark sunglasses hid her eyes. Daniel blinked in surprise. It was her, the same woman from last night. She walked straight to him. "Mr. Reed." Daniel nodded, slightly confused. "That's me." She took off her sunglasses. "My name is Sophia Carter. I'm the CEO of Carter Innovations. The woman you saved last night was me." Daniel froze, his breath catching. "You're the CEO." Sophia nodded. "I didn't tell you last night because I didn't want attention. But after the police questioned me, I couldn't stop thinking about you. You risked your life for a stranger." Daniel rubbed the back of his neck, embarrassed. "Anyone would have done the same." Sophia shook her head. "No, not anyone." Ava, who had been coloring in the corner of the gym, looked up and waved. "Hi, you're the lady from last night." Sophia smiled warmly and knelt to the little girl's level. "Yes, sweetheart, you must be the brave one who told your dad to help me." Ava giggled. "I just told him what was right." Sophia laughed softly, then looked at Daniel again. "She's a smart girl. You're raising her well." Daniel smiled faintly. "Doing my best." Sophia hesitated for a moment before saying, "Can we talk somewhere private?" They stepped into his small office. She placed a file on his desk. "I did some checking this morning. You used to be in security, didn't you?" Daniel nodded cautiously. "Yeah, before the gym, I worked private security and trained in mixed martial arts." Sophia's expression softened. "I could use someone like you. Someone I can trust. After last night, I realized I need better personal protection." Daniel frowned. "Are you offering me a job?" Sophia smiled. "A position as my personal security consultant. Full-time, with double your current salary, and flexible hours so you can still take care of Ava." Daniel blinked in disbelief. "That's generous. You earned it," Sophia said simply. "And it's not just about the job. I owe you my life." For a moment, silence filled the room. Daniel looked down at the file, then at his daughter's photo on the desk. He needed the money, no doubt. Raising Ava alone wasn't easy. But, more than that, he felt an unexplainable connection to Sophia, a pull that wasn't just gratitude. He finally nodded. "All right, I'll take it." Sophia smiled with relief. "Welcome aboard, Mr. Reed." Over the next few weeks, Daniel began working for her. He escorted her to meetings, checked her office security, and made sure she was always safe. Ava occasionally joined them after school, and Sophia quickly grew fond of her. One evening, after a long day, Sophia invited Daniel and Ava to her penthouse for dinner. The city lights shimmered beyond the glass walls, and soft music played in the background. "This is amazing," Ava said, eyes wide as she explored the luxurious apartment. Sophia chuckled. "You can run around as much as you like, sweetheart." Daniel leaned on the balcony railing, watching the skyline. "You really didn't have to do all this." Sophia joined him, her expression thoughtful. "You saved me. I can't ever repay that, but I can at least show my gratitude." Daniel smiled. "You already did, Sophia. You gave me a chance to build a better life for my daughter." Sophia looked at him quietly.